Om Agyanam Timirandasya Jnanajanasalakya Akshayamudamena Tasma Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swarupam Kadamahyam Dadati Sapadantikam Vande Ham Shri Guru Shri Yudapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagar Jatam Sahe Gandagunatha Vitam Tam Sajivam साधवेदं सावधूतं परिजन सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण प्रदान जय ललिता श्री विशाखवितं च नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादिपा सतदेशतारिणे हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपे कांता राधा कांता नमस्ते सप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधा वृंदावनेश्वरी विश्वानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंचा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधु एव च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जगत श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। प्रभु जी स्टार्ट करेंगे प्रभु जी।
प्रभु जी श्लोक से आप स्टार्ट करिए फिर मैं कंटिन्यू करता हूँ।
ओके ओके सो वी आर स्टार्टिंग द चैप्टर 17 लाइटनिंग द बर्डन ऑफ द वर्ल्ड। भारावर्तन न्याय ने भुवा नव इवो दधौ सिद्धांतय भूरि भरेना जातो है आत्मा भुवर्तितः। Others say that the world, being overburdened like a boat at sea, is much aggrieved, and that Brahma, who is your son, prayed for you, and so you have appeared to diminish the trouble. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.8.34. Brahma is directly the son of the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Father, and was not put into the womb of a mother. Therefore, he is known as Atmabhu. The Brahma is in charge of further creations in the universe, and secondarily reflected by the potency of the omnipotent. Within the halo of the universe, there is a transcendental planet known as Shwetadeep, which is the abode of Kshirodakshay Vishnu, the Paramatma feature of the Supreme Lord. Wherever there is a trouble in the universe that cannot be solved by the administrative demigods, they approach Brahmaji for a solution. And if it is not to be solved even by Brahmaji, then Brahmaji consult with and prays to Kshirodakshay Vishnu for an incarnation and solution to the problems. Such a problem arose when Kans and others were ruling over the earth, and the earth became too much overburdened by the misdeeds of Asuras. Brahmaji, along with other demigods, prayed at the shore of the Shirodak ocean, and they were advised of the descent of Krishna, the son of Vasudeva and Devaki. So some people say that the Lord appeared because of the prayers of Brahmaji.
Kunti Devi is describing the different statements of different persons about why Krishna appears. Some say that he appeared at the request of Vasudeva and Devaki, and some says he appeared at the request of Brahma. Brahma Vartarai Vartanaye Bhuve Nava Ivo Dadhu. Some says that he appeared just to reduce the burden of the world, which are which was overburdened like a boat at sea. When the world is overburdened, there must be war, pestilence, famine, epidemics, and so on. That is the nature's law.
The Earth floats in space among many millions of other planets, all of them bearing huge mountains and oceans. It floats because Krishna enters into it and is stated in Bhagavad Gita, Gamavisya, just as he enters the atom, the Earth is certainly not weightless. Rather, it is very heavy, but it floats because the Supreme Spirit is within it.
Everything is lightened by the presence of spirit. One's body will float in water as long as one is alive. But as soon as the spirit soul leaves, the body immediately sinks. As long as child is alive, we can take it along by one hand. But when the child is dead, it is heavy. So now we are heavy, but when we spiritually advance, we will be free from impediments. Now we cannot fly in the air, but the spirit soul is so light that when freed from the body, it can go within a second to Vaikuntha Loka. The spiritual world, Vaikuntha Loka, the spiritual world, ta- taya katva deham punarjanmam nayati mam iti.
Why then does the world become overloaded? It becomes overloaded due to the presence of demons, those who are against devotional service. When Mother Earth feels this load to be too heavy, Krishna comes just to unburden the earth. If a ship is overloaded, its position is very dangerous, for it may sink at any moment. Therefore, when Mother Earth felt too uncomfortable because of being overloaded with demons, Siddhantaya Bhuri Bharena, she approached Brahma, the chief living being within this universe. When there is a need, the chief personalities in the universe approach Brahma, who approaches Vishnu to ask that he reduce whatever the burden is. Then Vishnu or Krishna appears as an incarnation. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, sloka 7, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirvavati bharata abhyutanama dharmasya tadatmanam sajamayam. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religion practice, O descendant of Bharata and the pre-Roman rise of religion, at that time I descend myself.
When there is too much lawlessness and there are too many criminals, the states become overburdened and disturbed, and the state administrators are puzzled about what to do. Similarly, when the world is overrun by demons and atheists, they create a burden, and the demigods, the pious administrators of the universe, become perplexed. When the people of a state abide by the law, administration is easy. But if people are criminals, they overburden the administrators. A similar situation sometimes upset the balance of the cosmic affairs of this material world. Both the demons and the demigods always exist. But when the demoniac power increases, the world is overburdened. It is then that the demigod approaches Lord Rama for assistance. Hare Krishna.
Lord Brahma is one of the 12 authorities known as Dwadash Mahajana. Swambhur Naradaha Sambhu Kaumaraha Kapilo Muna Prahlado Janaka Bhishma Balir Vesakir Vyasikir Vayam Dwadash Mahajana. We have to follow the Mahajanas, the great authorities, if we want to receive transcendental knowledge. The Vedic injection is Tat Vigyanartham Sa Gurum Eva Bhi Gachet. If one wants to be knowledge of everything, one must approach a guru, a bona fide authority, a spiritual master. The original guru is Krishna. As Krishna taught Arjuna, he also taught Brahma, as stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, Tene Brahma Hridaya Ya Adi Kavaye Hare Krishna.
The Srimad Bhagavatam describes the original source of the creation, and this should be the actual subject matter of our research work. What is the original source of creation? Janmade Asaya Yataha. The original source of everything is the source of Sthiti and Pralay. Srishti and Pralay. Creation, maintenance, and dissolution. Our body has taken birth at a certain date. It lasts for some years, 10 years, 20, 50, or whatever, according to the body, and then it will be finished. When they did, when where did this body come from, and when it is destroyed, where it will go? There are scientific laws concerning the conversation of energy. What is source of that or energy? There is a source. Yeto va imam inami bhutani jayate. That source is identified in the Srimad Bhagavatam.
That source is not blind. Rascal think that everything has come from nothing, but how can something come out of nothing? There is no proof that such a thing happens, but fools claims it that it does, and therefore they are blind. What is the nature of original source from everything has come, in whom everything exists, and within whom everything will enter? The Bhagavatam, chapter 1, canto 1, chapter 1, shloka 1 says, Janmade asya yato nagaya ittaratas chardhesva abhigyanah. The word abhigyan indicated the source of everything is complete conscious. Krishna.
The word jnana means knowledge and abhi means specific. We have inadequate knowledge of where we have come from and where we shall go after death, and therefore we are not abhigyanas, supremely conscious. But the supreme source is abhigyana. He is not a stone or a void. How could he be? The creation itself is evidence of the consciousness of the supreme. Everyone can appreciate the cosmic manifestation and how nicely it is working. The sun and moon exactly rise exactly on time without deviating even 1/10,000 of a second. And the seasons change in the same way, bringing with them the fruits and flower. In this way, the entire cosmic manifestation is going on in a very orderly and systematic way. So, unless there is some abhigana, some very clever intelligence who knows everything, how could all this have been created? Some people say that all this has been coming from nothing. Nonsense. Again, as such, the creations come from nothing. Does this idea shows very good reasoning? The Bhagavatam says no.
The Bhagavatam tells us that everything comes from the person who is the Abhigyana, very intelligent and experienced, and that original intelligent person transmitted knowledge to Adi Kavi, the original created being, Lord Brahma. Tene Brahma Hidaya Yadi Kavaya. Brahma, the original created being, has an original source and he is in contact with that source. We understand that we get knowledge from another person with whom we are face to face. But when Brahma was created, he was alone. Therefore, how did he receive knowledge? That is explained in the Bhagavatam, Tene Brahma Hirdaya. The word Hirdaya means through the heart. The Supreme Person, Paramatma, is within the heart of every living being, including Brahma. Therefore, although Brahma was alone, he received knowledge dictated by the Supreme. The word Brahma means Vedic knowledge. Thus, the Vedic knowledge was given first to the Lord Brahma.
The Vedic knowledge is given to everyone because Krishna is within everyone's heart. Sarvasya Jaham Hriday Snivistah. But one must be qualified to receive that knowledge. Krishna helps us, giving us knowledge both from within as a super soul, Chaitya Guru, and from without us, the spiritual, and from without as the spiritual master.
Brahma receives knowledge from Krishna and distributed Vedic knowledge, and therefore he is an authority. There are four sampradayas or chains of disciplic succession, through which Vedic knowledge is distributed, one from Brahma, one from Lakshmi, and one from Lord Shiva, and one from the four Kumaras. We have to approach an authoritative representative of Krishna appearing one of these sampradayas, and then we can receive Brahma, Lakshmi, Brahma, Lakshmi, Shiva, and the four Kumaras. Thus, the art personified approach Brahma, who prayed to the Supreme Head of Godhead. The world is now overburdened with demons, and therefore I request you to appear. Some say, therefore, that the Lord appeared at the request of Brahma, that he lightened the burden of the world. Hare Krishna.
When the Krishna appears, he protects the devotee and kills the demons. Therefore, Krishna is in Narayan form as four hands. In two hands, he holds a disc and club with which to kill the demons, and another two hands he folds the council and the lotus, with which to bless and protect the devotees. The Lord says, Kaunteya pratijani na me bhaktya prashati. Thus Krishna buggles with the conchals, my devotee will never be vanquished, and with the lotus flower he extends its blessing. The lotus flower, which sometimes also appears in the hand of Lakshmi, is a symbol of blessings.
Now, some may say that Krishna appeared for this purpose or that purpose, but the real conclusion is that Krishna appears for his own pleasure, not because he is bound by any other cause. We take our birth because we are bound by our karma, but Krishna, being fully independent, does not come because of someone else's request or because of the karma. Rather, he comes by his own free will, Atma Maya. We are compelled to take birth because of Krishna's external material energy, but Krishna is not controlled by the Mayas or energy or anyone else, and therefore he does not take birth in such a condition. Maya, the illusory energy, is under the control of Krishna, so how could Maya control? One who thinks that Krishna, like us, is controlled by Maya, described in Bhagavad Gita as Mudha, a fool. Avagyananti mam mudha manushim tanum asritam. Hare Krishna.
Krishna is the original Narayana, the original source of the entire cosmic manifestation. Brahma, or the first living being born just after the creation, is the direct son of Narayana. Garbhodaya, Garbhodaya, Garbhodaya Vishnu entered first Garbhodaya Vishnu first entered the material universe without spiritual contract. Matters cannot create. Sorry, statement कैसा है? Vishnu first entered the material universe without spiritual contract. Matters cannot create. Those who are seeking the original cause of the material creation should know that the creation takes place when the spirit soul is present. Matter is activated by the spirit soul. It is not that the soul is created by the matter.
According to the Buddhist theory, the living force, the living energy we all have is created by vital conditions. At present moment, the entire world is influenced by this Buddhist theory. The actual fact, however, is that matter develops because of presence of living force. We can understand this very easily. After a child is born, he grows and his body develops. But if the child is born dead, if the spirit soul is not present, the body will not develop. Therefore, the spirit is in the basis for the development of matter, not vice versa. Why does a dead child not grow? Because the spirit is not present. A tree grows as long as there is life in it. If we sow the small seed of banyan tree in good soil and favor it with water, it will grow because the spirit soul is present. But if we were to try such a if we were to fry such a seed in fire and then sow it, it would fail to grow because the spirit soul will not be there.
Matter grows and develops because of the presence of the spirit soul. And this principle has been followed from the very beginning of the creation. At the beginning of the creation, Supreme Spirit entered the universe, and the first living being, Brahma, was born on a lotus flower, grown from the transcendental abdomen of Vishnu. Accepting that the lotus on accepting that the lotus on which Brahma was born is matter, we should understand that it is also grown from spirit. Therefore, spirit is the basis of the creation.
Because the lotus flower on which Lord Brahma is born is grown from the navel of Lord Vishnu, the Lord Vishnu is known as Padmanabh. Brahma is known as Atma Bhu because he was begotten for directly from the father Narayana Vishnu without the contact of mother Lakshmi Ji. Lakshmi Ji was present near Narayana, engaged in the service of the Lord, but still without contact with Lakshmi Ji, Narayana begot Brahma. That is the omnipotency of the Lord. When we want to beget a child, we need the help of a wife because cannot beget a child alone. But Krishna, Lord Vishnu, produced Lord Brahma without the help of wife. Lakshmi, although she was present because he is not dependent on anything. One, one who foolishly considers Narayana to be like other living beings should take a lesson on this. Hare Krishna.
The Vedic literature forbids one to think that other living beings are on equal level with Narayana. Yasya tu Narayanam Devam Brahma Rudrani Devita Samvetanam Vikshate Sa Prastutani Bhavad Durvam. Someone has invented the word Daridra Narayana, trying to show that Narayana has become poor and that the beggar who comes to my door to my door to beg is also Narayana. This is not authorized in the Vedic literature. Narayana is the master of Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, and only fools think that he somehow becomes poverty stricken. Rascal says that Narayana, Brahma, Shiva, all the demigods, you I, and everyone else are on the same level. This is foolishness. Narayana is Asya Madhurav. This means that he is non. This means that no one can be equal to or greater than him. Therefore, Krishna himself, the original Narayana, says in Bhagavad Gita, "Mata praptanam nayati." There is no one superior to me, nor is anyone equal to him. The word asam means that no one is equal to him, and arud, arudhava means that no one is greater than him. This is the position of the Lord.
Narayana is not an ordinary living being, he is a personality of Godhead himself, and he has all the potencies of all the senses in all parts of his transcendental body. An ordinary living being begets a child by sexual intercourse and has no other means to beget a child than the one designed for him. But Narayan is all powerful, and therefore he can beget a child from his navel. Every part of his body has full potency. It's explained in Dhamma Samhita 5.32. Angani yasya sakalendra vrittimanti. For example, well, I can see with my eyes, but Krishna can also eat with his eyes. Foolish rascal will say, "You are offering food to Krishna, but what has he eaten? It is still here. He has not eaten anything. Such people do not know that Krishna can eat just by seeing, for he can do anything with any part of his transcendental body. When a washerman refused to supply clothes to Krishna in Mathura, the Lord Krishna displayed his transcendental potential by cutting off the man's head with his hand. How was this possible? It was possible by the Lord's omnipotence.
The Lord is complete and independent to do anything and everything by his various potencies. This is explained in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam by the word Abhiryana Sarvat. The word Sarvat indicates that he is self sufficient, not dependent on anyone. That is the qualification of God. Nowadays, there are so many self proclaimed incarnation of God, but as soon as they have some toothache, they immediately say, "Oh, doctor, please help me, save me." If you are God, save yourself. Why go to the doctor? Such people are rascals and they make it very difficult to spread Krishna consciousness. The whole world is now overburdened by such rascals and demons, and therefore the atom bomb is by the will, waiting for them by the will of the Supreme.
7:26. We can stop here. We can start with the learning or realizations.
आज प्रभु एक एनालॉजी अच्छी लगी, सारी मतलब एनालॉजीज अच्छी थी जो
Yes.
सुप्रीम कॉन्शियस की बताई प्रभुपाद ने, और जैसे उन्होंने बताया कि हाउ दिस यूनिवर्स इज फ्लोटिंग, कि उसमें मतलब spirit soul, supreme spirit soul is present in this whole atmospheric manifestation. This is the way that matter is generating the life, and without that spirit soul, matter is nothing but redundant thing, because the spirit soul is the actual cause of making all the things. So really like the way our Prabhupada is explaining, and it is easy to understand how actually it is working. Yeah, that's it from today.
यस प्रभु जी, काफी
Really.
काफी यस प्रभु जी, काफी इंफॉर्मेटिव था आज का। एक वो भी अच्छा लगा मेरे को, मतलब जो एक्सप्लेन करा कि जो भगवान के एक हाथ में गधा होती है, एक हाथ में डिस्क होता है सुदर्शन, एक हाथ में लोटस होता है, और एक हाथ में क्या होता है प्रभु जी? शंख। शंख होता है। तो उसका प्रभुपाद बताया कि जो शंख और लोटस होता है वो ब्लेस करने मतलब डिवोटीज को ब्लेस करने के लिए होता है, प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए होता है। और जो गधा होता है और जो सुदर्शन होता है वो डेमॉन्स को मारने के लिए होता है। तो हाउ दिस इज हाउ ही कैन मेंटेन the balance. That's why he Vishnu is also known as the mode. मतलब संतुलन बनाने का काम है, तो वो इस तरीके से संतुलन बनाते हैं कि डिवोटीज को ब्लेस भी करते हैं और डेमोन्स का विनाश भी करते हैं। तो एक वो भी अच्छा लगा। एक वो अच्छा लगा कि जैसे सोल का रेलेवेंस बताया, उसमें बेनियन ट्री का एग्जांपल दिया कि एक बेनियन ट्री है, अगर आप उसे अच्छी मिट्टी में दबा देते हो और पानी डालते हो तो उसमें से एक अच्छा पेड़ निकलता है। लेकिन अगर उसी बीज को अगर आप भून के आप हम उसे सो करने की कोशिश करते हैं तो वो नहीं चलेगा, क्योंकि उसके अंदर जो लाइफ है वो मर चुकी है। तो एक वो एनालॉजी अच्छा लगा। और यस, दैट्स ऑल रियली।
वो एक और था ना, जैसे प्रभुपाद बता रहे थे कि लॉर्ड इज इन एब्सोल्यूट, तो वो देखते हैं तो वो भी खा लेते हैं। पहले मुझे भी लगता था कि हम प्रसाद क्यों करते हैं, मतलब ऐसे भोग क्यों लगाते हैं, पर खाते नहीं है। मतलब प्रभुपाद को पढ़ा फिर तो समझ में आया कि अच्छा ये प्रथा इसलिए चली आ रही है क्योंकि हमें तो मतलब हमें नॉलेज ही नहीं थी ना कि हम सामने क्यों रख रहे हैं। किसी ने बताया ही नहीं हमें कि
एग्जैक्टली।
ऐसा ऐसा मतलब दिस हाउ इट वर्क्स। तो ये सब जान के अब पता चलता है कि एक्चुअली दिस आर सेंसिबल थिंग्स जो हम कर रहे हैं, लेकिन लोगों ने इस तरीके से करना शुरू कर दिए कि सामने वाले को ये इनसेंसिबल लग गया। एटलीस्ट सामने वाले को बताएं इसकी महत्व क्या है, तो सामने वाला शायद अप्रिशिएट करे उसे
एग्जैक्टली।
कि हाउ दिस इज वर्किंग। पहले समझ में नहीं आता था ना, अप्रिशिएट वही करते हैं कि बिना उसके कि ये महाप्रसादम नहीं बनेगा अब ये।
नहीं बनेगा।
तो दैट इज द थिंग या।
जैसे मतलब
हाँ
वैकुंठा में भी बताते हैं ना, गोलोक में अपनी प्रभु जी से सुन रहा था मैं कि वहां पे ऐसा होता है कि जैसे पेड़ पे फ्रूट लगा हुआ है, तो वो जैसे फ्रूट तोड़ते हैं खाने के लिए और वो मुंह में डालते हैं तो स्वाद बिल्कुल ऐसा आता है कि जैसे वो फ्रूट बिल्कुल एज इट इज जो टेस्ट है उसका। बट एट द सेम टाइम वो फ्रूट ना जहां से तोड़ा है वो वापस वहीं चला जाता है, इन द सेम पोजीशन। तो मतलब वो डिजायर भी फुलफिल हो रहा है, वो पेट भी भर रहा है, बट चीजें भी एज इट इज वैसी की वैसी हैं, क्योंकि वो चीजें भी ट्रांसेंडेंटल फॉर्म में है। तो बिकॉज भगवान इज ओमनीपोटेंट, तो फिर एनीथिंग इज पॉसिबल।
राइट प्रभु जी। एक्चुअली हमें राइट नॉलेज चाहिए इस चीज को
हम्म।
अप्रिशिएट करने के लिए कि
हम्म।
ऐसा भी पॉसिबल है, क्योंकि
हम्म।
और इसके पीछे रीजनिंग भी होनी चाहिए। जो प्रभुपाद मतलब आराम से विस्तार में समझा रहे हैं कि किसी को ना है समझ में तो ऐसे समझ जाए
हम्म।
कि ऐसा नहीं है कि ऊपर ऊपर से समझा दे। प्रभुपाद ने बताया
हम्म।
कि हाउ इट इज वर्किंग, कि
हम्म।
दिस इज द वर्क ऑफ अ सुप्रीम कॉन्शियस, नॉट एनीथिंग मंडेन कि आप अपने मन
मंडन।
से जो भी कर रहे हैं ऐसे कुछ भी हो जाएगा नहीं।
यार
या
लॉजिकल है सब, जो साइंस कहते हैं ना, लॉजिक लॉजिक लॉजिक। तो एवरीथिंग इज लॉजिकल। और बहुत ग्राउंड लेवल पे उसका हम ऑब्जर्व भी कर सकते हैं, ग्राउंड लेवल पे ना, जो जैसे प्रभात एग्जांपल देते हैं कि जैसे वो एवरीथिंग कम फ्रॉम नथिंग वाला चीज बता रहे थे, साइंटिस्ट बोलते हैं एवरीथिंग कम्स फ्रॉम नथिंग। तो उसके बारे में प्रभात बताते हैं कि हम लोग जब किसी हम लोगों का सोर्स है तो हर चीज का सोर्स है। फिर भगवान ब्रह्मा जी के बारे में बताया कि लक्ष्मी लक्ष्मी जी के बिना ब्रह्मा जी प्रकट हुए, because he is omnipotent, he don't need anyone to do anything.
वाला एग्जाम्पल भी अच्छा था प्रभु, कि जो बता रहे थे ना कि नारायण डज नॉट कम टू बैग एट योर डोर, ही डज
हम्म।
नॉट
हम्म।
वांट योर
हम्म।
लक्ष्मी। और तो
हम्म।
वो उस फिलॉसफी को भी काट रहे हैं जो सब लोग बोलते हैं
हाँ।
ना कि सभी एक ही है, कि
हाँ।
सब में सब एक ही के पार्ट है। दैट इज आल्सो वेरी
हाँ।
गुड एग्जांपल कि
हाँ।
हम दे सकते हैं। मतलब येट वेरी सिंपल टू
हम्म।
अंडरस्टैंड, और डीप फिलॉसफी है प्रभुपाद की ये सारी लाइंस में, कि
हम्म।
उसी एग्जांपल से उन्होंने वो भी काट दिया मायावाद
हम्म।
को, और साथ में एक्सप्लेन भी कर दिया कि हाउ द स्पिरिट
हम्म।
एंड द सुप्रीम स्पिरिट इज डिफरेंट।
हम्म।
तो
हम्म।
वो अच्छा लगा पॉइंट या।
हाँ, मतलब नास्तिकों का तो नहीं कह सकता मैं, लेकिन जो बिलीव करते हैं भगवान की एग्जिस्टेंस में, तो उन्हें जब भगवान में एग्जिस्ट कर रहे हैं तो उनके आसपास की चीजें उनमें भी एग्जिस्ट करना, उस मतलब उसमें भी बिलीव करना चाहिए। इधर अगर कोई नास्तिक है तो उसे तो समझाना मतलब मुझे लगता है कि मुश्किल ही है, लेकिन अगर कोई आस्तिक है, मतलब भगवान में बिलीव करता है, तो उसे मतलब आसपास की चीजें पता होनी चाहिए। उसमें वो डाउट नहीं करना चाहिए उसे कि फिर जैसे लक्ष्मी जी का अगर रेफरेंस दे रहे हैं कि ही डोंट नीड लक्ष्मी जी टू डू एनीथिंग बिकॉज ही इज लक्ष्मीपति, एंड ऑल, तो वो एटलीस्ट वो क्लियरिटी आनी चाहिए माइंड में। इधर इधर फुल, जैसे अभी कुछ लोगों में देखता हूँ कि दे जस्ट बिलीव्ड कि गॉड एग्जिस्ट, अब वो आउट ऑफ फियर है या फिर आई डोंट नो क्यों, लेकिन अगर भगवान से रिलेटेड उन्हें कुछ बताया जाए ना कि भगवान ऐसे करते थे, भगवान ऐसे हैं, तो ऐसे कहते हैं अरे यार ये सब बातें मत करो, मतलब ये अंधविश्वास है। तो या तो आप पूरी तरह अंधविश्वास मानो कि एग्जिस्टेंस ही नहीं है, लेकिन जब भगवान की एग्जिस्टेंस है तो उनकी चीजें तो समझो कम से कम एटलीस्ट। तो इसलिए यहाँ पे बहुत बार बोलते हैं कि और अथीस्ट को थीस्ट बनाने से अच्छा है जो पहले भगवान में जानते हैं, है ना, हिंदू को हिंदू बनाए, ऐसा कहते हैं ना कि एटलीस्ट पहले हिंदुओं को हिंदू बना लें, बाद में तो अलग बात है और लोगों का तो। यस जी।
Right, bro. Yep.
ओके, ऐसे मतलब स्टॉप करें प्रो जी।
जी बाबा।
ओके, वंचा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधु एव च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जगत श्री प्रभात। थैंक यू फॉर
जय
ज्वाइनिंग। हरे कृष्ण प्रभु।